Hey everyone, welcome back to Talking English Podcast. I'm Sofia, he's Alex, and this is the show where two friends share one mic and absolutely zero filter. We talk about life, work, money, AI, all the stuff you actually think about. New episodes every Tuesday and Friday, so if you're not subscribed yet, what are you doing? Go hit that button.
Do it now. We'll wait.
We will literally wait. Okay, so today's topic, and I picked this one on purpose because I knew it would get a reaction out of Alex.
Already suspicious.
Is being nice at work actually a trap? Like, is workplace niceness something we should aspire to? Or is it quietly working against us? Alex, first instinct, go.
It's a trap. 100%. Done. Episode over.
Okay, we're not done, but I love the energy. Explain.
No, but listen. I've watched this happen. People who are genuinely, relentlessly nice at work, they get buried in other people's tasks. They become the office emotional support animal. And the person who just quietly does their work and says no sometimes, they get promoted.
Okay, that's a take.
It's not even a controversial take, is it? It's just what happens.
I actually think it is controversial because I don't think you're describing niceness. I think you're describing something else.
Go on then.
I think you're describing people-pleasing. And people-pleasing and niceness are not the same thing. People-pleasing is anxiety dressed up as kindness. Actual niceness is something different.
Okay, that's a distinction I hadn't made. But hang on. From the outside, how does anyone tell the difference?
That's the whole problem, right? You can't always tell. Which is why I think workplaces punish both. And that's the trap.
Ooh, that's darker than I expected.
I'm full of surprises.
Right, so your position is that niceness gets punished even when it's genuine.
I think in a lot of workplace cultures, being warm, being collaborative, being the person who remembers people's birthdays and checks in when someone's having a rough week, those things are undervalued, like massively undervalued.
To be fair, I've definitely been in offices where the most charismatic, slightly ruthless person just floats to the top. And everyone knows it's happening, and nobody does anything about it.
Exactly. And the nice people just kind of watch it happen and feel confused.
And then they get asked to plan the leaving party for the person who overtook them.
Oh, God. Yes, that is so specific and so accurate.
Witnessed it with my own eyes, Sofia.
Okay, so here's where it gets interesting, though. There's actually research on this. Adam Grant, the organizational psychologist, has this whole framework about givers, takers, and matchers in the workplace.
I feel like I've heard of this.
So givers are people who contribute without keeping score. They help, they share credit, they're generous. Takers take. Matchers keep a balance. And the wild finding?
The givers win.
The givers are both the lowest and the highest performers. The worst performers are givers who burn out. The best performers are also givers, but strategic ones.
So the niceness itself isn't the problem. It's whether you're nice and have boundaries.
Exactly. Unguarded niceness tanks you. Principled niceness elevates you.
Okay, so that's actually a brilliant framing. But here's my problem with it. It asks a lot of people. Like, you have to be nice, but also know when to stop being nice. That's a skill most people aren't taught.
100%. And nobody teaches it. School doesn't. Most managers don't.
And honestly, I think it hits different depending on who you are. I reckon women get it worse.
Oh, we're going there. Good. Yes.
Because there's an expectation, right? Like, if a woman is direct or says no, or doesn't soften every single thing she says, she gets a label. If a bloke does the same thing, he's decisive.
It's called the double bind. And yeah, women are expected to be warm and competent. And if you lean too far into warmth, people question your competence. If you lean into competence, people say you're cold.
That's mental. It's genuinely mental.
It is. And it's not theoretical. There are studies where the same email, same exact words, signed with a male name versus a female name, gets rated completely differently. The female signed version gets called too aggressive or not collaborative enough.
So the trap is literally structural.
The trap is structural, which is why telling individuals to just be less nice or set better boundaries is kind of missing the point.
Right. It puts the burden on the person instead of the culture.
Which is the comfortable thing for organizations to do, by the way. Much easier to run a TED Talk about assertiveness than to fix how you evaluate and promote people.
Oh, we'll do a workshop. A 45-minute workshop. That'll sort it.
With a Kahoot quiz at the end.
Brutal. Okay, but I want to push back on something slightly, because I don't think it's all structural. I've also seen people use niceness as a kind of passive strategy. Like, they're nice to everyone so that no one can ever pin a negative on them. It's almost calculated.
Say more about that.
Like, okay, I had a colleague once, right? Lovely bloke on the surface. Always the first to offer help. Always smiling. Always agreeable in meetings. But he never actually committed to anything. Never said anything that could be quoted back at him. His niceness was basically Teflon armor.
Oh, that's interesting. So niceness as conflict avoidance strategy.
Exactly. He wasn't people-pleasing out of anxiety. He was using agreeableness to stay completely unaccountable.
That's a different flavor of the trap, isn't it? Because then the organization rewards him for being easy to work with, but he's actually producing nothing.
Nothing. And yet, he's still there. Probably been promoted since I left, to be honest.
What was his name? Asking for a podcast.
I'll never tell. But his name rhymes with something deeply appropriate.
Okay, so we've got 3 types now. The genuine nice person who gets exploited, the people pleaser who burns out, and the strategically nice person who's basically running cover for themselves.
All 3 get called nice. That's the problem.
Exactly. Nice is doing too much work as a word.
Completely agree. And I think that's part of why it's a trap. The label collapses all these very different things into one thing, and then nobody knows what they're actually rewarding or punishing.
Which brings me to something I've been thinking about. What if the real issue isn't niceness at all? What if it's legibility?
Legibility. Okay, unpack that.
So, in workplaces, what gets valued is what's visible and measurable. A sale, a report, a line of code, an angry email that gets escalated and resolved. Those things are legible to the organization.
Right, they show up somewhere.
But the stuff that nice people do, smoothing over a conflict before it becomes a problem, making a new person feel welcome so they don't quit in month 2, mentoring someone informally, that stuff is invisible. It's illegible.
So it never makes it into your performance review.
It almost never does. And here's the kicker. If you take that person out of the team, everyone suddenly feels it. But they can't always name what's missing.
That's actually really bleak.
Just a little bit.
No, but it explains something I've felt but never had words for. Like, you know when a team just works, and then one person leaves and suddenly everything's slightly harder and a bit more miserable, but no one can figure out why.
That's probably the person who was doing all the invisible relational labor.
And they were probably also being underpaid.
Almost certainly.
Right. I need a minute. This episode is making me feel things.
Good. That means it's working.
Can I tell a story? because I think this clicks with something that happened to me.
Please.
So, this was a few years back at a job I won't name. I was trying really hard to be collaborative, right? Like, that was genuinely my strategy. Ask people for input, give credit, be easy to work with.
That sounds reasonable.
And my manager at the time sat me down for a review and said, and I'm paraphrasing slightly, "Alex, you're very well liked, but we need to see more presence from you."
Presents?
More presence, which I eventually worked out meant be louder in meetings, take up more space, push your ideas harder, even if other people's ideas are better.
So they were literally asking you to be less collaborative.
They were asking me to perform confidence in a way that was visible, which is such a specific thing, right? It's not about doing better work. It's about being seen doing work in a particular style.
And that style is basically extrovert, assertive, takes credit style.
Yeah, which I can do, but it's exhausting. And it felt weirdly dishonest.
That's actually a really important word. Dishonest. Because I think that's what a lot of people feel when they're told to perform a version of themselves that doesn't match how they actually are.
It's code switching, basically. Professional code switching.
It is. And there's real cognitive cost to that. Constantly translating yourself, constantly monitoring. Am I coming across right? Am I being too agreeable? Not agreeable enough?
Knackering. Genuinely knackering.
And here's where I want to flip this around a little bit, because I think we've been talking about niceness as mostly a liability. But I want to make the case that it's also a genuine competitive advantage, if you know how to use it.
Okay, here we go. I feel a final boss take coming on.
You know me well.
It's the look you get.
What look?
Like Diego when he spotted a bird through the window. Very focused.
I cannot believe you just compared me to my cat. He would be honored. Okay, final boss take.
Here we go.
I think the people who are genuinely thriving long-term in their careers, not the people who got promoted fast, but the ones who built something durable, are almost always deeply decent people. And I don't think that's a coincidence. Because trust compounds. Reputation compounds. Every time you help someone without keeping score, every time you're honest when it would have been easier to be vague, every time you advocate for someone who can't advocate for themselves, that builds relational capital that is extraordinarily hard to replicate.
But that plays out over years, decades even.
Exactly. And most workplaces don't reward on that timeline. They reward on quarters, which is why the nice person looks like they're losing in the short term.
But they're actually building something real.
They're building a network of people who will go to bat for them, who will mention their name in rooms they're not in, who will remember them when an opportunity opens up.
That's okay. I'll admit that reframes it for me a bit. Because I was thinking about niceness as something passive, like you're nice and then things happen to you. But what you're describing is niceness as an active long game.
Yes, exactly that.
Although, I do want to hold on to my earlier point, because I don't want to romanticize it either. Some people play the long game really beautifully and still get passed over. And that's not their failure. That's the institution failing them.
Absolutely. And I think that's the part we can't let go of. Individual strategy matters, but it doesn't fix structural problems. A nice person navigating a toxic workplace is still in a toxic workplace.
They're just nicer about being miserable.
Essentially.
So what's the actual answer then? Like, if someone's listening to this and they're the nice person who keeps getting overlooked, what do they do?
I think the first thing is to stop treating niceness as a fixed thing. Like it's just who you are and you're stuck with it. It's actually a set of behaviors. And behaviors can be calibrated.
Right. You can be warm and also direct.
You can care about people and also say no. You can give generously and also make sure your contributions are visible. Those aren't contradictions.
That's actually the hardest bit, though, the visibility thing, like self-advocacy. I find that really uncomfortable. Saying, here's what I did, give me credit for it, feels gross to me.
Same, honestly. But there's a middle ground between bragging and being invisible. You can say, here's what the team achieved. Here's what I specifically contributed. That's just accurate reporting.
Frame it as information rather than performance.
Exactly. And the other thing, and this one's hard, is to get better at noticing when your niceness is being exploited versus appreciated. Because there's a difference between a colleague who's grateful and a colleague who's just used to you saying yes.
Oh, I know which one I've been.
We've all been that one. I once spent 3 months helping a coworker with a project that had nothing to do with my role because I felt bad saying no. And he got the credit for the outcome. That was a great learning experience.
Wait, seriously?
Seriously. He presented the work. I smiled in the meeting. Very fun.
Brilliant. Love that for you.
I know. And the thing is, I don't even think he did it maliciously. He just took what was offered because I kept offering.
Which goes back to what you said earlier about the difference between people-pleasing and niceness. You weren't being nice. You were being conflict avoidant.
Yeah. And I dressed it up as generosity in my head, which was very convenient.
I respect the self-awareness there.
It took a while. Okay, can I throw one more angle at you? Because I don't think we've talked about this, and it matters.
Go for it.
What about being nice to people who are not nice back? Like, we've been sort of assuming a reasonably functional workplace. But what about when there's someone who's actively difficult or political or just rude? Do you maintain niceness there?
Oh, this is where I have a very strong opinion.
I assumed you would.
No, but listen. I used to think the answer was yes, you stay nice, you take the high road, you rise above. And now I think, partially no.
Explain the partially.
I think you stay civil, you stay professional. But niceness, like genuine warmth and generosity, you don't owe that to someone who's actively trying to undermine you. That's not high road. That's just handing them the tools to keep going.
I think I agree. There's a version of niceness that's actually conflict suppression that benefits the aggressor.
Exactly. Like if someone keeps interrupting you in meetings and you just let it happen with a polite smile. You're not being nice. You're just being interrupted.
And modeling to everyone else in the room that it's acceptable.
Which is genuinely not helpful to anyone.
So where's the line? Civil but firm?
I think it's... You don't match aggression with aggression, but you also don't absorb it. You name it, calmly. I wasn't finished is such a powerful sentence.
I wasn't finished. God, that's so good. So clean.
Right? No drama, no performance, just... No. Hold on. I'm still talking.
And that actually loops back to what we said earlier about niceness needing to be principled rather than reflexive. It's not, I'm nice, so I'll let you walk over me. It's, I'm decent. And decent people also hold their ground.
That should be on a poster. Or a mug. Actually, terrible idea. Office motivational mugs are peak dystopia.
Be principled. Hold your ground. Right next to, hang in there, kitty.
Perfect. We're merging it.
Okay, so bringing it together, because I think we've actually landed somewhere I didn't expect when we started.
Where did you expect to land?
Honestly, I thought this would be more of a debate. I thought you'd be firmly, niceness is a trap, and I'd be firmly defending it, and we'd fight.
You say that like I'm difficult to have a conversation with.
You went full, it's a trap, done, episode over, in the first 30 seconds.
Okay, fair. To be fair.
But I think what we've actually found is that niceness itself isn't the trap. The trap is the way niceness gets interpreted, exploited, and made invisible by the systems we work inside. And that's a very different problem.
And it means the answer isn't stop being nice. It's be nicer in a smarter way and push for workplaces that can actually recognize and reward it.
Both and, not either or.
Which is annoyingly nuanced for a hot take podcast.
We contain multitudes.
We really do.
Okay, wrapping up. I love this conversation. Here's my takeaway. Being nice at work is not the problem. Being unconsciously nice. Nice without intention, without boundaries, without visibility, that's where it goes wrong. You can be genuinely warm, collaborative, and kind, and still be strategic about how your work shows up and who gets to take credit for it. Those things are not in conflict.
And if your workplace punishes genuine decency, no matter how well you navigate it, that's information. Really important information about whether that place deserves you.
That's the one. I'm glad you said that.
I have my moments.
Okay, next episode, we are going somewhere completely different. We're talking about things we wish we knew at 21. Which, honestly, I already have too many thoughts about.
Same. Can I submit a list in advance?
Please do. I'll add it to the agenda along with the 6-page document I've already prepared.
Of course you have.
If you're enjoying the podcast, tell a friend, leave us a review, all that good stuff. It genuinely helps more than you'd think. I'm Sofia.
I'm Alex. Cheers, everyone.
See you next episode.